Let's start.
Hello, sports fans.
Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it is so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by.
Now, here's JP.
Oh, emergency show. Emergency Rays being sold show. JP Peterson here. Welcome into a special edition of the JP Peterson Show. For those who don't know me, I've been in this market for over 28 years, covering the Rays since their inception. Of course, the Buccaneers. Also, I am a member of the Tampa Bay Lightning broadcasting team, and we have been all over this Rays story for quite some time. So thank you for jumping in here. The breaking news today, a courtesy of Sportico and confirmed by multiple other sources, including myself. The Tampa Bay Rays principal owner Stu Sternberg is in advanced talks to sell the team to a group led by Florida real estate developer Patrick Zulupski. The deal values the team at roughly $1.7 billion, just as we've been reporting. Zulupski has signed a letter of intent to purchase the Rays, though that does not mean the sale is final. It is possible it will not be completed, but my information is Major League Baseball. This is the group that I've been talking about and reporting about for months. This is the aforementioned unnamed group with ties to Tampa Bay elite businessmen. We'll go into some of that here in just a little bit. But first and foremost, who is Patrick Zulupski? He is the CEO of Dream Finders Homes, which is based in Jacksonville. He is also a member of was a member of the Board of Regents at the University of Florida, and through that has a lot of ties to Tampa Bay. I believe he is a member at Pelican. I also know he is a very close associate of Ron DeSantis. They are good friends. The governor who appointed him to the Board of Regents at the University of Florida. His net worth, according to Forbes, is $1.4 billion. Also involved in the mortgage business as well. So Patrick Zulupski would be the managing general partner and the lead investor in this purchase of the Rays. As we reported many months ago, the Rays were being pursued by this unnamed group. We told you about the other groups that were making noise that were not the favored Major League Baseball group. This was the favored group we are talking about that involves a bunch of local folks that we're still not able to tell you about. We're working on that, but those names will come out quite very soon. Now, what does this mean in terms of being part of the Rays staying in Tampa Bay? Here's what I know. Patrick Zulupski was involved in a meeting in Tampa many months ago, along with Ron DeSantis, our governor in Tampa. I'm told this happened at Raymond James Stadium, very casual meeting. Evan Klosky of Tampa Bay 10 has also come up with some reporting of a public record that shows that Zulupski met with Tampa Mayor Jane Castor last month. That is part of the public record. I also know that Zulupski, the CEO of Dream Finders Homes, he is a developer, huge developer, multiple sites here in Florida, in the Tampa Bay area as well. I believe he is a member of Pelican, where the Tampa Bay business elites gather and play golf. So if he's not a member there, he's played there often with Governor Ron DeSantis. I believe he is a member of this unnamed group that we've been talking about. And as I've told you, they've been offering $1.7 to $1.8 billion. That is above the price that is set by Forbes at 1.3. I think Sportico had the Rays at 1.4. So as we've been reporting, offering more than what they are worth. It also has been reported that Sternberg turned down an offer for $1.8 billion a couple of years ago. But as we've also reported, and The Athletic has reported, Major League Baseball has been pressuring Stu Sternberg to sell the team. Obviously, Sternberg could not get a deal done in St. Pete, walked away from that, walked away from a deal in Ybor City 5 or 6 years ago. So he has not been able to get it done. The mayor of St. Petersburg has said, I'm not going to deal with Stu Sternberg. So this stadium is not going to be built in St. Petersburg either. The new owners, I've been told, do not want to build in St. Pete. They want to build in Tampa. We reported that. So this group would want to build and keep the team in Tampa. I can also tell you that Daryl Shaw, who was a developer in Tampa, this kind of dropped yesterday. His building of this new soccer stadium for the Tampa Bay Sun, the women's group that just won the championship, and did not mention the Rowdies. Obviously, a sale of the Rays would likely include the Rowdies, and I've been told that Daryl Shaw may be a part of this group as well. As we reported many times, there have been many investors that are interested in buying the Rays, and Major League Baseball in years past has kind of cobbled a lot of the interested investors together to come up with one group, and it appears like Zulupski has been the person that has emerged as the lead investor, and I'm told there are a lot of other Tampa Bay ties to this investment group, and that's why I believe that they're staying in Tampa. And Shaw could be, that Rowdies team, obviously building a 15,000 seat soccer stadium in downtown Tampa would, if you just have the Sun, would be a little dicey. So I would guess that this would probably be part of the Rowdies added to that as well in downtown Tampa. That's just another, kind of connecting the dots that tells me the team is staying in Tampa. So Zulupski has been part of this group with ties to Tampa. And also we know that, a lot of folks are saying, well, what about Jacksonville? Well, Jacksonville has tied up all their public money in the football stadium renovation. So they're not going to be in Jacksonville. Major League Baseball doesn't want that market anyway. Could Zulupski be part of an Orlando group where Orlando has a different lead investor? So that when he would not be part of that Orlando group or be looking at Orlando, and Orlando also doesn't have any public money. So I know Zulupski has met with local officials here as part of a consortium, as part of this group. He obviously has met with Jane Castor. That's part of the public record, and also the connections with Daryl Shaw and others. Once again, Zulupski, 43 years old, CEO of Dream Finders Home and Jet Mortgage. Has a lot of ties to the University of Florida on their board of regents, and also brings him ties to Tampa Bay. So Sportico has reported that this is an advanced sale agreement, a letter of intent to purchase the Rays. So as we reported all along, they're not going anywhere. I believe Zulupski and this group are going to keep the Rays in Tampa and on the Tampa side. That's where Major League Baseball has said they want it multiple times. Commissioner Manfred has said Tampa is the spot, and he also assured the Rays that there was a Tampa solution a couple of months ago when he met with the team in New York. So all of this points to a sale of the Rays and them staying in Tampa. My partner, Tim Ham, joining me here. Tim, you've gone through and reported on many of these constructions in Dallas where you are our affiliate in FanStream Sports Dallas. We've been on this all the time, and I think it's just finally coming to fruition.
No, and it should be exciting news, just the fact that we are able to use the words advanced talks, right? Because we've talked numerous times and ad nauseum about why Stu Sternberg, the current owner of the Rays, can't get anything done moving forward with the sale of the team. And you've outlined now with this new potential ownership group why you believe they're going to stay in the Tampa area. The one thing I have not heard you touch on is maybe the biggest hurdle that we thought exists with the sale of the team, and that is the asking price.
Yeah.
Do you have any indication that they have discussed asking price? Is that still a hurdle with this new ownership group, or has he come off of that?
The Sportico report says it's $1.7 billion. And that's what the letter of intent. That's right in line with what we've been reporting, 1.7, 1.8. Obviously, Sternberg wanted to get as much as he possibly could. The Orioles were just recently sold for about that same number. And again, this is, without a stadium, that's where the number is. And this new group, we've been told, wants to, Zulupski is a developer. He is a developer. And the group that he is with is a developer group. So I think it's interesting where, the Bucks have kind of been, kind of low key about what they're going to do. But the reports surfaced about a month and a half ago, that the Bucks are looking at doing a mixed use project at Raymond James Stadium. So doing much more than just getting a renovation. Is this part of something, putting a Rays stadium next door? Could there be some synergy between Zulupski and this local group and the Buccaneers? I think that's very much possible. I also think the fairgrounds becomes a possibility. That is state-owned land. And Governor Ron DeSantis has said he's not going to put any state money into it, but maybe some state land. And DeSantis and Zulupski are very tight. Now, of course, DeSantis, Dunedin, right, where the Pelican is. DeSantis loves to play the Pelican. A lot of these deals come together around golf, right? So so I think there would be state involvement in there since, these two guys are so tight. So doesn't necessarily have to be state money, but there could be some involvement in that in terms of the land. So, by the way, if you guys have questions, comments, you can comment on X. You can comment on my Facebook page. You can also comment on YouTube. Just go to the JP Peterson Show and you can comment and ask questions there. Any other questions you have, Tim? Because I probably, in all my excitement here, probably missed.
Yeah, I mean, we know it's been reported that Stu turned down while the team was valued by Forbes. I believe you said at 1.2 million a number of months ago. He's already turned down 1.8. Correct? An offer for 1.8,
reportedly from Dan Doyle.
Sure.
Now that was when he was in advanced talks to get the stadium done in St. Petersburg.
Right.
So I think, he was saying, well, if you're going to buy this team and we already have a stadium deal and you're getting all this real estate, 1.8 billion is not enough. So timing is important here. And I think it's also important to understand that Major League Baseball, as we reported, went to the unprecedented lengths to threaten Stu Sternberg's revenue sharing dollars. So I thought it was just a matter of time before he had to sell and pressure was being applied. You can see some interesting thing going on with the Rays and their marketing. They're doing bold new things they have never done before. And I know Major League Baseball has a person on the ground with the Rays. Are they, also doing part of their marketing? It kind of looks that way. So, but as far as where the stadium would go, I think the Ray J spot is interesting. Could that be, part of a bigger development where, the Rays and the Bucks are side by side and there's a sliding roof because the Bucks need a roof. They need a roof of some type to get more Super Bowls, national championship games. That's part of the renovation. The fact that the Bucks haven't really talked to the city of Tampa in Hillsborough County about this renovation. They've been very tight-lipped, not in a spurious kind of way. Just they don't know. They didn't know what they wanted. They didn't know if this was going to be part of a Rays group. And as I've been reporting, there's a lot of elite Tampa Bay businessmen that have been involved in this group for a long time. These are big-time players in Tampa Bay, across the state of Florida. The Glazers are doing a similar thing at Old Trafford, building a mixed-use, huge stadium development over there with Manchester United. Could they be, doing the same thing here in Tampa? That was leaked that they want to do that. So all this thing is kind of coming together. The pieces are coming together. And when you look at it, you connect the dots from a money standpoint, right? A baseball stadium would bring in at least 81, games a year, plus playoffs, plus tournaments, plus, concerts, all these things that could be involved. And if you could, envision a mega complex right there on Dale Mabry, there's plenty of room for parking on, over in HCC. There's that huge plot of land between the stadium and One Buck Place that the Glazers own that they could turn into residential and make billions of dollars in that space as well. So, yeah, it all kind of can come together. I'm not reporting any of this is set in stone. Okay. I'm connecting the dots here. And you look, if you follow the money, this is where it all leads. So I think the fairgrounds also could be in play. There may be another plot in Ybor City that could be in play. I've heard about that. But the bottom line is, my guess is they have already identified a spot. If they're this far down the line in these advanced talks, then Zulupski, who is a master developer, will be looking to do a huge residential part of this in that area. Condos, apartment buildings, and that development money helps pay for the stadium. Now, so where's the money coming from? This whole thing, Hillsborough County, the city doesn't have any money. That's ridiculous. They have money, but they were never going to write a blank check to Stu Sternberg like basically St. Petersburg did. And that still didn't get the deal done. So Major League Baseball realized, and we talked about this, and the mayor of St. Pete said, I'm not dealing with him anymore. So he couldn't get a deal done in St. Pete, couldn't get a deal done in Tampa. Nobody wanted to deal with him. He had to sell the team. He was boxed in. He was being pressured by Major League Baseball. This was inevitable. And there was a group here that wanted to overpay for the team, right? And now what this allows Major League Baseball to do is go expand to other markets. Now, Orlando might be part of that. I doubt Major League Baseball wants an expansion team in Orlando when they can put one in Nashville, in Charlotte, in Portland, and other places that are free, wouldn't infringe on other teams. And certainly you don't want them to infringe on Tampa Bay. We have enough issues with attendance. But as I've always said, the attendance issues stem from the hatred of the owner, Stu Sternberg. Once he's out of the picture, I think that opens up an absolute avalanche of local business cash and fan cash, people that just will not support him. We know it, just droves of them. So that totally changes. You get a locally based group here who is building, something grand and is going to be a huge part of developing that part of the city. If it's not there somewhere else, millions of dollars in jobs, in construction jobs, and an entertainment center that will provide, another, thousands of well-paying jobs there. And in a market that's growing, exploding. This is one of the biggest exploding real estate markets there are. You can't build enough condos in Tampa Bay, right? You can't build enough residential in Tampa Bay. And the prices, while they may have leveled a little bit, are certainly, it's ripe for development. So again, all this comes together in a grand vision that we've been talking about, that these folks that we've been this unnamed group. And I told you, with all the noise going on in Orlando and the, noise coming from other groups, I said, and I told you, and we even had Carter McCain on the show, and I told you, this is not the leading group. The Joe Malloy group, this is not the leading group. There is a yet unnamed group that wants to stay in the shadows. Those are the people you need to pay attention to, because those are where the deals get done, typically. And this is what happened. This is what happening is, and now I believe as Sportico reports that Zulupski has a letter of intent. Now, this doesn't mean it's a done deal. This is not 100%, because this still has to be finalized. And we know with Stu Sternberg, until things are finalized, they are not done. So let me underscore that. This is a letter of intent to purchase the Rays. And it is, according to Sportico, this has been agreed to. And this is what I've been told has been going on behind the scenes. So at some point there was, pressure was going to be brought to bear. I mean, Sternberg is 66 years old. Does he want to be part of taking this down and rebuilding the Trop and all that stuff? And no, he wants no part. And when he can cash out, he bought the team for $200 million with his partners. I believe his share was only $50 million. He's going to walk away with $1.6 billion in addition to the money he's already made on this team, which is considerable. So this is huge news. If this purchase does go through, I believe the Rays are going to stay in Tampa, just like Manfred has said multiple times, just like he told the team months ago. There's a solution in Tampa because he knew this was happening. He knew this was coming forward. It makes all the sense in the world, and I believe it's happening. So
this is big news for everybody. While it's not a done deal, this is a necessary step to get to that point, and we're finally here. Yep.
So that's good news. Let's get to some of the comments and questions here. And again, if you have any comments or questions, please throw them up there. All right, I'm going to do this just going right through them. Urgency JP is always good.
Thanks, Lonnie.
Lonnie Wilkins says, the man who's been all over it from day one. Thanks. I don't want to make this into that patting me on the back, but go ahead. I take enough heat for it, right? Feel free. Michael LaRue says the team wasn't for sale. Oh, my God. You think? He lied? Shocking development. Rick says, suck it, Orlando. In other news, Mark Topkin and half of DAE are resigning.
Oh, God.
Well, hopefully, there'll be a new PR director. Me.
That'd be great.
George Gio says it's for the best. Stu wasn't willing to risk and gamble, but he did a lot to legitimize his franchise. He just didn't have that killer instinct to get us to the next level. I'm not going to – listen, I'll give Stu credit for making the Rays into a winner. He deserves that credit with his innovation. But he has destroyed this market and taken the joy out of baseball in so many ways. This stadium could have been done a long time ago. If he was just an ordinary owner who had Tampa Bay's best interest in mind and wanted to get the deal done instead of his own financial interest in mind, which is why he was sued by his partners and had to settle with them, then this would have been a much different story. And he could have been the hero, but he chose not to do that. So we'll give him credit for making this team a winner. But after the damage that he's done, I think far outweighs that. Danny Boy Kane says Fairgrounds instantly becomes the favorite for the new ballpark here. I think it's an option, with the state and him being friends with DeSantis. That makes sense in some ways. but I still think, I don't know. I still think Raymond James might be a better start. Young Swag says, is Carter McCain part of this group? No, he is not. I do not believe he is. But I could be wrong. I don't know if they may have added people. They've been very quiet for months. So, but I do not believe he is. James Rollerson says, good news. Hope it gets sold. Yes. Bury the Orlando talk for good, says Danny Boy Kane. Indeed.
Please.
Last Waltz says, HAP, is this a whole brand new group that emerged? No, this is the group we've been talking about, maybe with some additions and then maybe some deletions. But I think in general, Zulupski's name was part of the names that I could not speak about. Yeah, he's been part of that group for a while. Thomas says, every guy in his group are billionaires. Yeah, there's a lot of money here. There's a lot of money here. And, you know, I kind of was messing around, but there's truth to this that, I don't know, Romano wants me to say this, but Jason Romano, who is Kyle Tucker's agent, you know, he called me the other day and was like, you know, hey, is Dan Doyle still over there at the Pelican? I'm like, yeah, he owns the Pelican. He was like, yeah, I think I'm going to go over there and talk to him about signing Kyle Tucker for this. I mean, can you imagine them announcing this and announcing a new stadium and signing Kyle Tucker, who was a homegrown Plant High School free agent, top 5 player in the game.
Incredible.
Who wants to, you know, I played golf with him, friend of the show, wants to play in Tampa Bay, but never could because of Tropicana Field. Couldn't play there. So, yeah, wouldn't that be? And you know what, folks? Why not? When you have owners with deep pockets and can, you know, we see it all around Major League Baseball. Why not? If the guy wants to come here and he's not a guy that's going to be driven solely by money, like will other teams offer him more? Yeah. Do you think he would want to come? He just bought a new house on Palmacia and, you know, he would love to play here. We know that. He's told me that, but not for Stu Sternberg and not in the Trop. New ownership group, new stadium open at Tampa. Hell yeah. Play for a couple of years in Steinbrenner, that short porch.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what does this mean for the renovation of the Trop? I don't know. I never thought that they would go through with that anyway, but I don't know.
It may mean nothing because nothing is probably what was going to happen.
But if this group buys the team, I would say they'd probably rather play in a major league park for 2 or 3 years while the other stadium's getting done.
It all comes down to cost.
And trust me, I think, I mean, if you were able to fix the Trop and play there, great. You know, you're making more money. And I think this group would be supported way more and they would market it right. And I think your attendance would improve there. So I don't think that's completely, you know, off the table because the city of St. Pete has to pay for it.
So I tell you,
part of it.
The closer that we get to a final sell or a sell being imminent or a sell being announced, with the excitement that is around a new Ray Stadium, the new ownership group would do themselves very well with the fans in the area by releasing some sort of stadium plan, whether it's preliminary, whether it could be anything. Hey, here's what we'd like to do. We haven't talked to anybody about this. We don't know if we can, but here's what we want to do, and release some drawings, have a location in mind, and that would go a long way towards everybody settling down.
There's no way they're buying this team overvalued without a stadium plan.
Exactly.
And I know they've been talking about this stadium plan for a while and building in Tampa. They have a plan. They have a development plan. If it, you know, maybe in its infancy or,
right,
you know, they have a plan and they got a good plan and they got deep pockets to do it. And let's talk about this part. Let's talk about the baseball part. Let's effing go, says Rick. Maybe some bold moves at the trade deadline. Yeah, imagine that. Imagine Eric Neander being able to make a trade and add salary. Imagine that. Shocking significant salary. Not Nelson Cruz salary, significant salary.
Oh, right.
So, yeah, imagine that. Well, why not? When you have deep pocket owners, you know, this team is made tons of money. Don't get it twisted. A lot of you are probably new to this program, but we have not been one of those people that are saying, oh, the Rays don't have any money to spend. Oh, my God, nobody shows up at the game. Complete BS. Complete BS forever. False narrative. They have over $300 million in revenue every year. They spend $70 million on players. There's a lot more that goes into it, but you do the math. There's a lot left over. They could easily spend 130, 140, 150 and still make profit in Tampa at the Trop. So don't get it twisted. The ownership group decided not to pay for these players. So a new group coming in with more revenue available in Tampa, like way more revenue available in Tampa. You got to understand premium seating is where it's at. This new stadium is going to have lots of premium seating, which means a ton more revenue. The Braves just did this. When they moved to where their fans are in Cobb County and built a mixed-use, the Battery around it, they immediately turned over $140 million more in local revenue. Immediately, first year. And then it went up from there. And they put the money into the team and spent on free agents and won a World Series. While Stu Sternberg's busy saying no to $15 million Charlie Morton, which would have been a steal, the Braves are saying, come on, we got money. We just built a stadium where our fans are. We got tons of local money. We'll take Charlie Morton, and they won a World Series. Yeah. You imagine Eric Neander with an actual budget of $140 million?
Basically double what they have now.
Yes. Yes, it's possible. Because we would finally do it the right way. Finally be accessible to 90% of the fan base on the right side. And by the way, Orlando, the 15th largest market just down the road. That's what Major League Baseball wants. Not a team in Orlando, a team on the Tampa side with a bright line train coming to Tampa from Orlando, ready to go. That's what Major League Baseball looks at. SportsGimp Pat says, at least now the Rays have acknowledged it proves something is happening. Yes. And did we ever think otherwise? I mean, come on. Daniel Rivera says fairgrounds or sombrero footprint for new Rays ballpark. I believe that's probably the two leading spots. Yeah. But it could be something different. Milton Madden said, why would they play till stadium is ready? And would Kyle Tucker still want to sign here next year since he is a free agent? Would Kyle Tucker want to play 2 years in Steinbrenner Stadium? Have you seen that short porch in right field?
And on natural grass?
Yeah. 10 minutes from his home?
How about the terms? The terms to him signing with the Rays is that please don't go back to the Trop because I don't want to play on that.
Oh, he won't play there.
Yeah, exactly.
If they go back to the Trop, he will not play there.
Yep.
I can guarantee you that. Yeah, and he doesn't mind the heat. He's played Palmacia Little League and Bayshore Little League in the heat. He knows what it's like here in Tampa. Every single stadium scenario in Tampa Bay is now viable. Well, in Tampa, not in St. Petersburg. MLB is not building in St. Petersburg, ever. It's not happening. They're moving on. Daniel Rivera says, look for the Rays to now stay at Steinbrenner for the next 3 years until the new ballpark is ready. Got to think now the settlement talks in St. Pete are going to ramp up. I think that's possible. I do think that's possible. I think that's on the table. I don't know how far down the road they are on fixing the Trop, but I know they tried to put the lights on the other day. I know this. They do not want to fix the Trop. St. Pete does not want to fix the Trop. They want no part of that. They're doing it because they have to. Yeah, Sportico reporting. Zulupski, you are correct. Cody says the Rays would have 2 championships if it wasn't for cheap stew. I totally agree with that. Look at this team alone with the pitching staff that they have. If they had added in the offseason some boppers on this, like real hitters to this lineup that they already have, can you imagine where they'd be right now? Yeah, a lot. Look, they're playing great baseball. But they're still 7 games over 500? Could be better. With this pitching staff, could be a lot better. Is this the aforementioned secret group? It is, Mike. Absolutely is. If it's true, it's big day in Rays history. Absolutely it is. We've been waiting for this. I mean, this is not Michael H. You're a regular listener. This is not news to you. Thomas Gasper says, John Morgan, I was just kidding around. Yeah, I'm going to bash the great people of Orlando, but we told you, don't get in bed with Stu. It's just going to get your heart broken. But Stu wasn't even officially talking to Orlando because he wasn't allowed to by Major League Baseball. Another unprecedented move. anyone in his situation, Major League Baseball would have said, go talk to all the other expansion markets and get the price, get everything going, like they did with David Sampson. They didn't do that. Why? Because they knew they had a group here and a solution here in Tampa. They didn't want him out there mucking up the waters because they knew what was coming. Michael LaRue says the fairground's hard to get to if you're in Northwest Hillborough. I agree. You know, I think the Ray J side is better because the infrastructure is already in place. Parking is not an issue. Egress, we all know how to get there and get in and out of there. It's pretty damn easy for Bucks games, relatively speaking. Yeah, all that stuff is already done, and the land is free. The county-owned land, TSA already in place. The Bucks Glazers there, would they? You know, I've heard that people ask, would they want the Rays next door if they're building a mixed-use project with residential and businesses and entertainment center? Would you want a baseball team next door bringing you 81 games of 30,000 people?
You should.
Yeah, to the man. But what about our parking? They'll figure it out.
You know, that's available to be added onto, right? Like you don't have to just go with the existing infrastructure if you build a stadium. Like they can fix that. Yeah. Mike H says, JP, I have to give you credit. You kept it mums the whole time. Well, we put out what we could put out, you know, and I'm just glad it's coming to fruition finally. Because I, you know, there was some trepidation that Stu would somehow be able to screw this up. And again, it's not done. Yeah, it's not done. It's Stu Sternberg we're dealing with. So today the price is 1.7. Once you sign a letter of intent, the price typically goes up to 1.9. You know, so again, we're not to the finish line yet. But we'll see. Yeah, Michael LaRue says, has Stu ever backed out on the deal before? Yeah, so let's keep it in perspective, folks. Mastradamus says, I hear an alarm clock in Orlando. Wake up, dream over. For the dreamers. Tim was dragged from the Applebee's happy hour today. No, is that true, Tim? No, I was here getting ready for my other two shows that I still have to do this afternoon, by the way, Rick. That's right. Tune in. We'll finish From the Rough at 5 Central and the Colby Sabatini Cartim Show at 7 Central. There you go. Get yourself, our numbers are going through the roof here, so get yourself some promo in there. Exactly. Hunter Tubbs says, great work, JB. Congrats on being right for so long. Appreciate that. Thomas says, DeSantis has to transfer state property to private developers, which is not probable. I don't know how any of that works. I'm going to be honest with you. Yeah, Thomas sounds like he knows what he's talking about, though. He always does. I mean, if they could sell it, right? For $1. By the way, Rick, there's nothing wrong with Applebee's happy hour. And it hasn't started yet. I know. Pete Alonso, too. Yeah, he only signed a 2-year deal. Yep, there you go. Met the two Plant High teammates, Kyle Tucker and Pete Alonso. Who's playing first base? They just rotate lefty, righty. It's like you want both those guys in the lineup all the time, though, right? Can you imagine? Why not? Why not us? What else we got? Lonnie Wilkins, Kyle Tucker to Tampa Bay next season. I'm just telling you, we know his agent. He's in Tampa. He loves Tampa. You connect the dots. I'm not saying it's definitely happening. I'm saying Kyle wants to play here. He told me that personally when we play golf. He would love to play in Tampa, but not at Tropicana Field. Are you guys, the viewers and listeners, as much of a fan when JP name drops as I am? I know. Isn't it great? I love it. Yeah. I don't have many friends, but, you know, now Tropicana Field is a WC, could be financial settlement to buy out. What's WC? White chocolate. Water closet. Kind of is right now. Yes. Did you see Evan Klosky's tweet? Yes. So I mentioned that in the beginning. He found a public record of they have to, I guess when you're dealing with lobbyists or meeting with people, you have to file a public record. And he found a public record that Jane Castor met with Zulupski last month. They weren't probably talking about new Dream Finders homes in Tampa. That's my guess.
And again, we've reported on the Zulupski meeting with local officials. I'll leave them unnamed. DeSantis was there. Elite Tampa Bay businessmen were there. So yeah, he's been here. He's known here, well known here. Zulupski, I'm talking about. Rick says MLB sent their Ray Donovan that fixed the Ohtani gambling situation to have lunch with Stu. Whatever it takes, baby. Matt Diaz says, great to finally see it acknowledged. God, it got so annoying listening to all the people who were convinced they were moving to Orlando. So is this the Matt Diaz that played for FSU? I see the Unconquered show there. Is that the same Matt Diaz who would definitely know what's going on because he knows these people? Message me if that's you, Matt. JP, thanks for all your spots on reporting on the Rays, stadium talks, and pending sale through the year. It's what I do, baby. It's what I do. Look out, our AL East competitors. Look how much they spend. Mucho. Yeah, I can imagine if we could actually be with them. Bull Gators running the payroll. Let's effing go. Yeah. I'm a Seminole, but I love them Bull Gators with money. You want to come build a stadium here, all you Gators? And there's a lot of Gators involved in this. So, yeah. And ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. B says, JP, you have no actual reporting info telling you they are staying or building in Tampa. Just opinion, no reporting.
I was waiting for B.
No, it's a good question. It's a good question. Is the sale final? No, it's not. Have I been told by people within this group that they want to build in Tampa? Yes. Yes. Is this the group that I've been talking about? Yes. Is St. Pete moving on from baseball? Yes.
Out of the baseball business.
Is Orlando going to get the team? They have another lead investor. They have no public money committed. So this is not part of that. So Orlando's out. Jacksonville. Zulupski lives in Jacksonville. One of his partners is an owner of the Jumbo Shrimp. Their AA team. Major League Baseball has no interest in Jacksonville as a market. If the NFL could, they would rescind the franchise that they gave them at Jacksonville.
Probably would.
Jacksonville is not. They have all their public money tied up in the new football stadium. Where do you think it's going? The commissioner said Tampa, Tampa, Tampa. So do I have hard reporting that I know where the site is, that the deal is done? No, I don't. But everything else I told you, I connect the dots. So, yes, this is my informed opinion that they're staying in Tampa. What a good question. And thank you for asking. Double says, recap, please, just tuning in. Okay, real quick. So Patrick Zulupski, CEO of Dreamfinders Homes based in Jacksonville, but a developer all over Florida, has a lot of ties to the Tampa Bay area. He is part of the group, and one of the names that I could not name, Sportico is now reporting this. I did not report this today. I do not have the information that they have. This is Sportico, and it has been confirmed by a couple other outlets. The one person that I spoke with, but it's only one, so I can't confirm it, that told me that this is the group. So yes, as far as our reporting goes, we've confirmed this as well. So this is a letter of intent to sell $1.7 billion. We believe it's going to stay in Tampa for all the reasons I just mentioned. So that's a basic recap. So this started today with Sportico reporting that the letter of intent has been agreed to with Stu Sternberg. But again, it's Sternberg, so anything can happen. Alejandro Noriega says they need to extend Junior and Aranda to a 12 years. No, we're not signing anyone to 12-year extensions. Come on, people. No, 12 years is ridiculous. The only stupid Mets teams do.
I feel like this emergency live breaking news broadcast may have run its course if we're talking about that.
I'm trying to look for any other new. There's a lot of. Okay, what else? Anything else? All right. I don't think there's anything else. Christopher Cole says Tucker ain't going anywhere. All right. Well, now why didn't he sign with the Cubs yet?
Yeah.
Huh? Brett Gross. I want to say something here. Imagine what Tampa could look like in 5 to 7 years with a new USF stadium, new Ybor Sun Stadium, new Rays Stadium, and a renovated Ray J. Why not?
I might have to move to Tampa if you guys don't watch out.
Why not us? All of that's already done. USF Stadium's done. Ybor Sun Stadium with the Rowdies coming. We said that shoe dropped yesterday, and we connected that for you. Didn't we say yesterday? This tells me that the Rays are staying. Everybody, the Rays are leaving. No, connect the dots. Sale's going to happen. The Rays are part of it. Daryl Shaw is part of it. He gets his Rowdies. You don't build a 15,000 soccer stadium for the Tampa Bay Sun. Don't do that. So, yeah, as we said yesterday, Abraham Vadencharik says, Tampa Bay Sports Authority, hope you step up in getting a stadium for the Rays. It's all part of it. It's all part of it, in my opinion. Let's do one more. JP, if this gets done, the ownership group commits to Tampa Bay, we need to have a big party. Oh, effing right, baby. I will organize that boat party myself. All right. Thank you guys
bowling
for joining.
Instead. Let's do it at a bowling alley. Let's celebrate at a bowling alley. I feel like there's not enough bowling celebrations.
We do boat parades. That's what we do. And I guess the Sun are having theirs today, so congratulations to them.
There you go.
They can go up Ybor Harbor to where their new stadium's going to be. Yeah, it's all great news, and we deserve this. We deserve this. I'll just finish by saying I've never had anything personal against Stu Sternberg. It's all about the way he's gone about his business and how he has set Tampa Bay back for years in development on the Tampa side, years of development set back on the Trop site. All of this because of one guy, not because Tampa couldn't get it done, not because St. Pete couldn't, not because this is a bad market. It was always because of Stu. And I've told you that for 6, 7, 8 years since he walked out on that deal in Tampa. It's not us, it's him. And hopefully this part is over. And we will see how Tampa Bay is unlocked. The vast potential of this market as a sports market and as a baseball market with the passion that we have that's built into the fabric of Tampa Bay, you will finally see what this market is all about, especially in terms of baseball. We're going to do it right with local owners who care about Tampa Bay, who care about baseball. And it's going to be freaking awesome. And I cannot wait. Do the right thing, Stu. Sell the damn team. All right, much more coming up tomorrow on the JP Peterson Show live. We do this every day from 10 to 12 right here on the spots you're watching on X, on Facebook, on YouTube, and, of course, as a podcast anytime on Apple, Spotify, anywhere you get your podcasts. The Rays could be sold soon. As we've been reporting it, it's a great day in Tampa Bay. We'll talk to you tomorrow.